Hey, welcome back to the show. A long time no see. For those of you that have forgotten, I am Billy,
And I'm Bridget.
and this is Sibling Rivalry Sports. So we have some breaking news that's come out of the NBA today. De'Aaron Fox has been traded to the San Antonio Spurs, and the Kings have got Zach LaVine back in that trade. We've been hearing about it for about a week. There's the full details.
Yep. We saw this coming. I mean, it was reported earlier in the week that the Kings were open to trading Fox before the deadline. Then there was Clutch Sports, Fox's agency, coming out and saying, like, better sooner than later,
Yeah.
essentially, like,
And it was so
you
much
know,
mixed because they were
signaling
saying,
that
"Oh,
Fox was not
Fox
going to
went
be
to him," and
resigning.
then it said, "Oh no, the front office went to him." So it's who knows what really
Yeah.
transpired in all
Yeah.
that.
We don't know for sure who really initiated it, but
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it did seem like both parties were on the same page in
yeah,
terms of the fact that the expectation was that he was not going to be re-signing with
yeah.
the
And
Sacramento Kings.
and
So,
honestly, like it was plain as day. Like honestly, as much as it sucks to see him go,
mhm,
this was the best chance of them getting something out of it.
exactly. Like, best case scenario, he resign like we have a great season, he resigns in the off season,
Yeah,
everyone's happy. That doesn't seem to be the way this season was trending. And so I totally understand the need to um, make something happen while we can, maybe get the best return for him at this point.
yeah, because if the longer you wait, the longer they waited, the less they were going to be able to get from him. So at least now they were at least able to get somewhat of a starter all star for him and
Right.
not
Two-time
get
two-time
nothing.
all-star
Yeah,
out of Zach Levine. So
granted that was in his younger days, but still, it's better than getting nothing.
yeah, and he's not old. But
Yeah,
I
he's
think he's
29. He's
29.
still like end of his prime, but still prime.
Yeah. Um, so the Spurs are getting Fox and Jordan McLaughlin, who's on the Kings, not getting a lot of playing time.
Yeah,
Um, so the Kings are getting Levine, this Sissoko guy who I think will probably end up in the
yeah,
G League.
G League.
Um, we've got um, Isaac Jones, who is kind of testing the waters out of the G League
Yeah,
up in the last game. So um, I don't think that's a direction we're going to go with the bench most likely. And then these three first round picks. If you could talk to a little bit about what those picks mean in
so the
reality.
most likely those will basically be like second round picks because the Hornets is a lottery protected, and the Hornets we all know they're terrible. They're not going to make the playoffs, so it's top 14 protected. If they don't get it in the lottery, then it's going to go to a second round. Spurs, that's going to be a late round because I mean they got Fox and Wimby. They're a good young team. They're going to be in the playoffs. That'll be another late round first pick. So our only hope is the T Wolves really, really suck come 31, and that's a first round.
Yeah, and that's pretty far down the road now.
Yeah.
So
That person's in, like, I think, sixth grade right now.
um so worth noting, Kevin Herter is getting moved to the Bulls as part of this deal as well. So all of the attention that I've seen so far has been about De'Aaron Fox being traded and all of the thank yous and um, memorials coming out are Fox related. But, I've been on the trade herder bandwagon since last season,
Yeah.
pretty
I
early on
think a
last
lot of the
season.
Kings
But
fans have been like, Herter needs to go. Herter needs to
yeah,
go.
and we've been ready. But at the
Yeah.
same time, um, he's a personality that we like, and I wish him well moving forward. I think maybe that opens up a spot where the Kings are going to be looking to grow the bench a little bit more, because Herter has been kind of resigned to the bench, especially since Doug Christie took over as head coach.
Yeah.
So there's some space there on the team, I think.
And maybe new scenery. Like
Yeah,
he had just lost his confidence. You can just tell when he got it, he had no confidence in his shot.
yeah. It's like he got the yips and no, or the twisties, like
Yeah.
as old gymnasts say, right? Like he got the twisties and he never recovered from it.
He
But
just had no confidence, no confidence in his shot.
right. So there's obviously been some reactions coming out. Malik Monk posted this photo of him with his Kentucky connection, bro, De'Aaron Fox. I know. Um, Malik Monk is really, I feel like, the heart and soul of this
Yeah,
team. He's
for sure.
definitely the bigger personality. And I
Like
think he's been showing as a starter
yeah.
that he can play a major role.
Like you can tell when he's not in the when he's not suited up. It's like they just lack that energy. That team. He brings
Yeah,
that
it's a different
energy to the
energy.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, and so obviously, though, Malik Monk is going to be sad to see De'Aaron go. I can only imagine that Keegan Murray is going to be sad to see De'Aaron go because they have a very close personal relationship
Yeah.
with De'Aaron Fox really kind of taking Keegan Murray under his wing as a rookie. And kind of on the flip side, we've seen DeMar DeRozan talking, he hasn't said anything yet publicly about De'Aaron Fox leaving, but
He
did
did
post a
mention
reunited.
on like a pod that if Fox is gone, like that would want him, he would think about wanting to leave.
Okay. Well, and yeah, that makes sense because Fox was part of like the whole selling package of
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
DeMar DeRozan to come. I think he was also part of the selling package of getting Malik Monk
Monk
to
back.
resign.
Hmm.
Um, so, obviously those are two big players we're grateful to have. And I think Fox played a major role in getting them. But yeah, so far since the trade news broke this evening, I think DeMar DeRozan simply posted a reunited
Yeah,
thing with him and
with Levine.
um, Zach LaVine, since they did play 2 seasons together on the Bulls. Or is it three? 3 seasons together, I
Two or
think.
three. And I mean, you can look at it too as like, oh, they're going to be awesome. They played together and all that, but they didn't do anything.
Yeah, they didn't win, but it's a new team and chemistry. We'll
Yeah.
see. I think there's hope for it. Before we move on to talking about too much about Levine and DeRozan and what that looks like moving forward, I do want to say a thank you to De'Aaron Fox. One, I just love when players are good for the community, and De'Aaron Fox was good for the community. I think
Yeah.
he really put down roots in Sacramento, supported local businesses. He ran his camps for kids, and just similar to how I looked at Mike Brown, like just all around good guy.
Yeah. You
And
never heard
so
anything bad about him.
you're right. Um, as a teammate, as just a member of the community, I think the Kings were lucky to have him. And, when I think back to the Beam Team season, 23-24, or was it? No, 22-23 now. um, he was such a big part of their success and getting back into the playoffs. And, um, we are better off as a team and as a community for having had De'Aaron Fox, um, on our court for as long as we had him. So I just want to acknowledge that, say thank you, De'Aaron Fox. You've changed us. You changed our fan base. You raised the expectations. You were a franchise player, and it's sad to see you go.
Yeah. And I mean, it was nice to see him. Like, he promised playoffs. We got it 1 year, but couldn't quite get much more, but not because it wasn't not because of him.
Yeah.
The front office failed him.
Yeah, and if you look at the struggles that they've had this season, um, as of late, De'Aaron had some struggles of his own. I know he's dealing with that hurt finger, but he also had a 60-point game that we lost.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when everyone was like, when the season started going downhill pretty bad and we're reading the tea leaves, and then Mike Brown got fired, it was like, trade De'Aaron, he's not producing what we need, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't understand the tendency of a fan base to blame
Yeah, like
losing on their best player.
Yeah.
Like, why are we blaming our best player on the court and not holding the rest of the team accountable
Let's not
or
mention
pulling
the
their own
bench
weight?
like only scoring 10 points the whole game. It's like, yeah, let's go to Fox.
Yeah. No, he took a lot of heat this season. But I think at the end of the day, as a fan base, the overall feeling is just gratitude for
Yeah.
what he brought to the team, what he brought to the table.
I mean, he broke the drought.
Yeah. So looking forward, here are the stats for Zach LaVine: 6'5". So I know size is something that we've been looking for.
Yeah, but it's
He's got a little bit of it.
no, still doesn't play defense though. So Murray's literally going to be by himself on defense because Fox at least played defense.
Yeah.
LaVine, not much defense. But I mean, we're not really missing too much scoring wise. I mean, still he averages 24 a game,
Yeah.
so
So
that works.
if we want to look at the comparison,
So it's like they're pretty
pretty
close to
close.
each other. I mean, of
Mhm.
course, Fox has more assists. He's a point guard, so that should be. LaVine, better shooting percentage. And that is one knock on Fox is he tended to shoot too many threes.
Yeah.
Like even when they weren't falling, he just kept shooting threes. It's like get to the hole.
Hmm.
Like
And he's really efficient when he does get
yeah,
into the paint. So, he has the speed and those circus shots that he's known for that, just are always so impressive. But
I mean he'll probably be happy too because he'll probably get more whistles in San Antonio.
yeah, I was thinking about that. With him playing with Wembanyama, for some reason, it just seemed like Sacramento and De'Aaron Fox just never quite like hit a stride where they were getting national recognition, regardless of how well we played, regardless of
But it's
how out of his
it's always
mind
been
Fox
like
played.
that.
It has always been like that. But I'm hoping now for De'Aaron Fox, just for him as a person and the fact that I love him as a player, that maybe playing beside someone who gets as much recognition as Wimby will help elevate his star
Yeah.
to where it belongs. And maybe he'll stop, getting so underrated and so much disrespect
And I mean
as a player.
now there's a good chance he possibly could get all NBA, which would help his
Yeah.
contract and maybe more all-star appearances because he's
And
on
here's the
San
thing
Antonio.
with Zach LaVine being a former All-Star too, having now his name and DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento, those are two names that are already well respected. And I'm hoping maybe that will bring some more respect to Sacramento if we can get some wins.
Yeah, probably not though.
I mean, but when was the last time we had big names like that in Sacramento, like already established players, not someone we were hoping was going to pan out?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Problem is, I just don't see the trend or going on into wins.
Yeah. So that remains to be seen.
But the numbers, they look, at least the Kings got something for him. Like we've said, they didn't go at least like nothing and get a bunch of scrubs. They actually got a valuable starter.
Yeah.
And they still have room now to do something because he waived his trade money or his trade clause bonus. So it gives them even more money to go out and do something now. Will they do something? That remains to be seen with this
There
front.
has been a report that came out, right, that Sacramento is still like actively pursuing another
they've
trade.
been doing that for like 3 years. So
So we're not going to hold our breath, which is why we're doing this podcast right now and not sitting around waiting for another deal to break. I mean, we're getting whiplash this trade deadline, all the way up to this point, because obviously yesterday the news broke that Luka Doncic was being traded to the Lakers
for Anthony Davis, and it was like, wait, Shams his Twitter had to have been hacked.
That's what everyone said, yeah.
It was like,
And
no,
I
hacked.
I kid you not, I literally woke up this morning and thought, that is so weird. I would dream that Luca got traded. Why was I dreaming that last night? And then I was working through my dream and I was like, wait, no, that all happened before I fell asleep. That actually happened.
Yeah, it
That's
was
how
just
like out
it
of the
was
blue it
crazy.
was. So honestly, as a fan base, at least we had this past week of
Yeah.
like prepping for this emotionally. And Fox had the time to prep for it.
Hmm.
He wanted to go to Texas as far as anyone could
Yeah.
tell.
And
So
honestly, that hurt the Kings.
it did.
It
Well,
was out there that he was only going to resign with San Antonio because that was a one stop destination. No one else was
mhm,
on board. So San Antonio, they had all the balls in their court. They
yeah,
had all the leverage.
they had the leverage for sure. Um, but I mean, even with that being said, I think, we came out okay.
Yeah. Like I said, at least we
Probably as
got
well as you could have expected, especially
yeah.
since this is a player that we've been interested in since off season.
But it's
So
just kind of sucks we couldn't get any of their young players back.
yeah. Well, here's the thing. At least we didn't get sideswiped like the Mavericks, like
Yeah.
the Timberwolf fans.
Yeah, the T Wolves with Cat getting traded.
Yeah. I
But
mean, just all of the trades that have happened so far I feel like have been shocking.
yeah.
And at least Fox, we've gotten a warm up for.
Well, and honestly, the
We
Kings in a
got
way they
kind
got
of saw it
away with it
coming.
because with how like bad that Mavs trade comes out, I mean, everyone this they could have traded him for nothing, and they still would have been talking about the Luca trade.
Yeah, there was another trade I saw coming into this, and now I'm trying to pull it up right now.
I saw earlier. Um, Jimmy Butler told Warriors he wouldn't resign with them, so
Hmm.
Warriors are out of the running for him.
Yeah, there's that meme I sent you that's Jimmy Butler sitting there like eating
Yeah,
his Cheetos, like being the one to start all of this like
yeah,
trade drama and talk about where everyone's going, and he's still sitting pretty.
and he's just a cancer.
Yeah, I
Every team he
know.
goes to, he'll have like one decent year, and then it's just a cancer.
Yeah, no one wants any piece of that in their locker room. Um,
Then all right, then let's see what our off-season predictions were.
I can tell Levine is also, a good guy in the locker room, so that's good. We're not inheriting anyone with known drama.
Yeah, aka Butler.
Right. I mean, this should seal the deal.
Yeah,
Actually, I think a few days ago, Butler came out and said he likes Sacramento
yeah,
with that. I don't think that broke anyone's hearts here
no.
in Sacramento.
I think all fan bases are crossing their fingers. Oh, don't come to Sacramento or don't come to my team. Don't come to my team.
Hmm. So
So let's see
I
what
did,
our off-season
yeah,
predictions were. Well, you were right in a way.
you know, I was in on Zach Levine, what was, potentially bringing to the table. Actually, Mikal Bridges was my number one, I think, but um, I was leaning towards Levine as well. I did not think we were going to lose Fox in the process. I don't think that's a anyone would make
No.
unless it was under the current circumstances that we're facing. So I guess in that sense, I predicted this.
Yeah.
But you had some predictions
and I struck out.
early in this
What's
season
What's funny is all
after the
three of
season
your
started.
guys are on different teams now.
Mhm.
The two guys I picked are still on the same team.
Potentially still on the table
Yeah.
getting
Kuzma's
ready for
still
the
out
trade
there.
deadline.
There's talk about him
Still got a
possibly
few
still
days
getting
here.
traded.
Hmm.
Kings have been he's been mentioned, I think, the last 3 years for the Kings.
Yeah.
Valanciunas, he would still be a good pickup because then you can move Sabonis to 4.
Right.
And they still have not solved their wing problem in the bench.
Hmm.
I mean, they got no bench.
Yeah, and especially at backup center for Sabonis,
Yeah,
because as durable as he is, if he is ever out,
they're screwed.
yeah.
I know you like Alex Lynn, but
I mean, I like Alex Len as the role that he plays.
yeah,
Really not a starter. I think
no,
that he brings some really good energy when he does come in. And I like the effort that he gives in on the court, but um obviously, you know, as a fan base and as a team, you're always looking at every position and
yeah.
asking where can I get better? And backup center is, kind of an obvious hole.
Well,
I think.
the bench in general. I mean, last game against who would they play? The Sixers
Mhm.
when they got blown out. They didn't get a bench point. No, against OKC. They didn't. Their bench did not score a point until like
I mean, they kind of got blown up by the Sixers too, though.
yeah. But I mean,
The last two games have been ugly.
against OKC, they didn't get a bench point till like 30 minutes into the game. It's like you can't have that.
Yeah,
And that's the thing. Like people keep saying, "Oh, Keon Ellis this, Keon Ellis that." He's not reliable enough on offense.
yeah,
Like some games, yeah, he'll go for 15 or 18, but more often than not, he's getting like 3 or 6.
yeah.
And it's like you can't, as much as he does play good defense, I don't think he plays good enough defense for his lack of offense. And he's not a playmaker on offense. He can't create his own shot.
Right.
That's my one thing with him. And he's only like 6'3".
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Devin Carter will develop. I think there's
I'm not too
a
high on what I've been
possibility.
seeing so far.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's only been getting 4.4 minutes a game. It's gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to go up though. He's gonna be the
Mm-hmm.
backup point guard now. But I mean, his last couple games have been okay, yeah, go back to the bench, rookie. You're not ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only way to see if he or develop him is to get him more time, though.
Yeah.
And see if there is something there. Um, but back to our predictions. You had some predictions early in this season that I consistently disagreed with.
Yeah. Everyone said they're like, nah, you're wrong. You're wrong. That's not happening.
So
So
what were your predictions and why did you have them?
it was probably
What
like what,
reasoning?
maybe 2 weeks into the season that I predicted. I was like, Brown's gonna get fired. He's not gonna make it to the All-Star break, and Fox will get traded. I was like it's gonna happen with how they were playing. And it was like, no, that's not gonna happen. Here we are. Brown didn't make it to the All-Star break, and Fox got traded. I mean, you could just read the room. I mean, they weren't they had zoned out Mike Brown. They weren't listening to him. And
Yeah, the
you could tell
players.
by you could tell by the half or the interviews after the end of the game. I remember there was once they asked the monk
Hmm.
like what had happened, and he's like, "Oh, he had told us to do this. We just weren't doing it." Okay, well, what more do you need to know here that they're not listening to Brown?
There was another one, I think, where Brown was in his post game saying something about what the team was supposed to do or whatever. And Monk's response was, "Oh, he said that? Hmm, okay." Like,
Mm-hmm.
was like kind of dismissive, like acknowledged, like, okay, well, yeah, he was right about that, but he said that. Like,
Yeah.
there was definitely some,
And I mean,
not maybe not animosity, but some
yeah. Well, and also like Brown always preaches defense,
distance.
defense, defense. Yet everyone knows Ellis is their best defender,
Hmm.
and he wasn't playing.
Hmm.
It's like how you preach defense, and then your best defender gets D and P's. Like
Right.
how's that happen? It just didn't make any sense at all. And like I said, I thought the only chance he would still be around is because they just had a contract extension. So I was like, they'll give him maybe they'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but no. As soon as they lost like 6 in a row, yeah, he was gone. There was after blowing 20-point leads, yeah, you're gone.
Yeah. So where do we go from here?
Uh, I honestly think you have to blow it up. Like you just have to me, you have to blow it up. And the Kings front office, they won't do that, but
No.
they have to. They have to try to get draft picks. But they still want to compete. They've said it from the very beginning. Like with Fox, they want win now pieces
Right.
because they still want to compete. It's like, well, you just lost your best player. So good luck with that. I mean, like we've talked about, they still need bench and they need wings. They have the money to do that. Now, will they do that? That's yet to be seen.
Yeah. Or will they be able to, especially before the trade deadline?
Yeah,
But
got
um, I mean, it's been a
basically
wild ride so far this past few days.
yeah,
So
we got 3 days basically for them to do something.
mhm.
It's also, I
I mean,
mean,
with this piece, I could understand maybe though that they could have other things in the works and they're waiting to get this big piece finalized before pursuing, seriously pursuing or, finalizing anything else.
but it's also interesting that text or that message I sent you a couple days ago about they had a deal for Collins and
Yeah.
Ingram, which is what they needed, and Grant Brown said no.
Hmm.
So it's like, wait a minute. So they had something, but the head coach said no. Like, wait, well, you're part of your own demise.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you were needing. You said no. Well, you got no one to blame but yourself.
Hmm. I mean, that's what we were asking for all off season.
Yeah. Like what I said, the last 3 years.
Yeah.
We need wings. We need wings. And they keep drafting guards, guards, guards. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. By Wednesday, I'll probably be at work just refreshing my phone like I've been doing the last week.
Yeah. I mean, set your alerts. I've got my alerts
Yeah.
set. But we'll see if the Kings have any moves left in them.
I mean,
If you were a betting man, would you say yes or no? They've got another move before the trade deadline.
I would hope so. They need to. But like I said, this front office, I don't know.
I mean, I will say I feel like they've been more active
Well,
than
they've always been
previous offseason.
chatter. There's always been chatter about it,
I
but
know,
it never
yeah, but
happened.
I mean, DeMar DeRozan in the offseason, that was a big one. I think they've made some big moves. And so, I
Well,
mean,
before the
maybe haven't
DeRozan,
panned out. We
well,
all
they
hope
haven't really
so.
made big moves because before the DeRozan, like the biggest one was Walker Kessler or whatever is Kessler Edwards. Like that was what last year. That was our big free agent pick or a trade pickup last year. I don't even know if he's in the NBA anymore.
I don't know.
It's
Mhm.
like they're trying to pick these diamonds in the roughs. It's like it's not gonna work. They're the Farhan Saidi of basketball.
No idea what that means.
He's a old GM of the Giants
Oh, okay.
who was always getting the cheap people, thinking that they were going to turn out to be great. But yeah, so I hope they do, and I hope they get somewhat of a bench and wing. They have a lot of draft capital that they can use and trade exceptions. So we'll see. But like I
Yeah.
said, I don't have high hopes. I hope to be wrong, but being a fan of this franchise for so long, you would just expect the worst.
At least we were given the heads up.
Yeah.
At least we saw it coming. That's all I can say. Because seeing your best player get
Yeah.
traded and having no
No
clue, I'm
idea.
watching the reactions of people watching Luca get traded, and I do not envy that fan base.
No.
So,
And I will say too, I mean, like I said, Levine, he scores, he's a high percentage in scoring,
mhm.
and he gets a lot of points on, or he's high with the dribble handoff. The Bulls were ranked one of the worst, one of the least, the teams that run that dribble handoff the least, 28th in the league. Kings are one of the most teams, or teams that run that the most. So he could see a high percentage of that go up. I mean, him and Sabonis in the pick and roll. I mean, or
Yeah.
Monk and Levine in the pick and roll.
And as we saw, his numbers are really close to Fox. So if we're
Yeah,
looking just statistically, we didn't get much worse.
no, and he's a
We're
better
we're
shooter.
about right where we were before.
Yeah,
So,
he's a better shooter, and he's taller, so he can shoot over the top of those guys.
mhm. And he has a higher percentage of
Yeah,
field goal percentage. So we'll see.
yeah,
I
it'll be
mean,
interesting.
yeah, if nothing else, I don't think we get a lot worse, except for the fact that it's been a lot of distraction.
Yeah, and maybe we'll have an in-game dunk contest between Monk and Levine.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Monk. I haven't seen much of Levine yet, but I'm gonna say
Oh,
Monk's
you
gonna
haven't
steal that
seen
shit.
Levine's a two-time dunk contest winner.
Okay.
Like him and go on YouTube and watch Levine first Aaron Gordon dunk contest.
I'm
Levine,
sure I watched it when it was live. I just can't
it
recall.
was it went into like double overtime.
Hmm.
They had dunk off after dunk off after dunk off.
I want to see Monk in the dunk contest.
Yeah, but
You
yeah,
know he brings so much swagger to that.
Levine like went between the legs from the free throw line. I'll send you a video of that. It's, I mean, granted, like that was when he was older, but or younger, but
Yeah,
he's still got some jump in his legs.
yeah.
But we shall see. Time will tell here in a couple days if the Kings do anything. Yeah, I don't know.
And in the meantime, can this road trip be over?
Yeah,
Are we done here? Like this road trip has been
well, at least we
that.
get to play the T Wolves tomorrow
Yeah,
with them coming off a loss to the Wizards who had lost 16 straight games. So that's gonna be a fun one without Levine too, because he probably won't play till Wednesday.
mm.
So expect a 20-point loss.
I mean the Kings are really good at winning without De'Aaron, which was always something fans brought up as like a slight to
Yeah,
De'Aaron, but I don't think that's what it was. I think
no,
it just was the games that they hadn't lined up and
yeah, but I mean, like I said,
next man up mentality.
Minnesota's
So
going to be pissed just
yeah,
losing to the Wizards, who had lost 16 in a row at home. So yeah, that's, I have a feeling that's not going to be pretty. They keep facing these teams that come off losses. Like they
yeah.
played OKC after OKC lost to the Warriors. So you know OKC was pissed.
Hmm.
But yeah, they play Wednesday. I forgot who it's against. But that'll probably be Levine's first game. Then
We see.
Fox comes back to Sacramento in March.
I did just see an update that Luca has landed in LA.
Yeah, I saw that too. That's still just wow.
So the next three games, uh, tomorrow against the Timberwolves, Wednesday against the Magic,
Yeah, so they play Magic.
and then Thursday we got it back to back against the Trailblazers. So
Trailblazers have been playing well, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Monday or tomorrow, I'm expecting a 20-point blowout loss. That's my prediction there.
I'm not surprised that it's not more optimistic than that. Optimism is not your strong suit when it comes to this team, and
More often than not, it's correct.
I know, and I'm fighting for my life over here, so trying to see the silver lining and everything.
All right. Until next time, light the beam.